Are you looking for an edge to help you become the best version of yourself? Then you need to learn how to build immense inner strength from the timeless philosophy of Stoicism. Stoic thinkers believed that inner strength was not just physical, but mental as well. They taught that the strength of one's spirit is far more important than any physical strength one can obtain. Today, we're exploring the immense inner strength and Stoic principles shared by David Goggins, a man who epitomizes the power of self-discipline and mental toughness. David Goggins is known for his pragmatic approach to life, where his philosophy revolves around relentless self-improvement and brutal honesty with oneself. In his conversations, Goggins emphasizes the importance of facing one's fears, embracing discomfort, and using internal challenges to fuel personal growth. Let's break down the key lessons from his journey. Let's get in. Number 1, embrace discomfort. Let's start with something that's central to Stoic philosophy, embracing discomfort. Now, I know it's human nature to avoid discomfort and seek out what's easy and familiar, but the Stoics, they had a different take. They believed that real growth comes from stepping outside our comfort zones and facing challenges head-on. Think about it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, faced countless challenges during his reign. He didn't shy away from them. Instead, he welcomed them as opportunities to strengthen his mind and spirit. He wrote in his meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, obstacles aren't just obstacles, they're the path to growth. So how can we apply this to our lives? Start small. Maybe it's taking a cold shower in the morning, pushing yourself a bit harder in your workouts, or tackling that task you've been procrastinating on. Each time you embrace discomfort, you're building your inner strength. You're telling yourself that you can handle whatever life throws your way. I remember when I first started practicing Stoicism, I decided to try fasting for a day. It was tough. My mind kept wandering to food, and I felt every little hunger pang. But by the end of the day, I realized something profound. The discomfort wasn't just about being hungry. It was a lesson in control, in mastering my impulses. And that feeling of accomplishment, of knowing I had the strength to endure, was incredibly empowering. Another great example is Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who began his life as a slave. Despite his harsh circumstances, he focused on what he could control, his mind and reactions. He taught that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. By reframing his discomfort, he found freedom in his mind. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean seeking out pain for pain's sake. It's about recognizing that growth often comes with a bit of struggle. It's about understanding that the temporary discomfort you feel now can lead to greater resilience and strength in the future. Number 2, practice self-reflection and brutal honesty. Moving on to our next key strategy, practicing self-reflection and brutal honesty. This one is powerful, my friends. The Stoics believed that knowing oneself is the cornerstone of personal growth and inner strength. Without self-awareness, we can't truly understand our strengths, weaknesses, or the areas in our lives that need improvement. Self-reflection isn't just about thinking back on your day or your actions. It's about digging deep and being brutally honest with yourself. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, would often reflect on his own thoughts and actions to ensure they aligned with his principles. He wasn't afraid to call himself out on his shortcomings, and neither should we. Imagine looking in a mirror that shows not just your physical appearance, but your inner self, your fears, your flaws, your unfulfilled potential. It's not always easy to confront these aspects of ourselves, but it's necessary. Seneca, another renowned Stoic, said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This means continuously examining our lives and striving to improve. Here's a practical way to start. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on your actions. Ask yourself, did I live according to my values today? Did I act with integrity? Where did I fall short? Write these reflections down. Keeping a journal can be incredibly powerful. It forces you to articulate your thoughts and face them head on. When I first started this practice, I was shocked by how much I learned about myself. There were patterns of behavior I hadn't noticed, like how I would avoid difficult conversations or procrastinate on important tasks. Writing them down made them real and undeniable. And that's the first step to change, acknowledging the problem. Self-reflection also means being kind to yourself. Brutal honesty doesn't mean being harsh. It's about recognizing your flaws without judgment and understanding that everyone has room for improvement. The Stoics believed in the concept of sympathia, a sense of mutual interconnectedness and empathy. Apply this to yourself. Understand that being human means being imperfect, and that's okay. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. This is crucial in self-reflection. You can't change the past, but you can learn from it and use those lessons to shape a better future. By reflecting on our actions and being honest with ourselves, we create a roadmap for personal growth and inner strength. So start today. Look in that metaphorical mirror and ask yourself the tough questions. Write down your reflections and be honest about what you see. It's through this process that you'll begin to understand yourself better and build the inner strength that the Stoics cherished. Number 3, the power of actions over emotions. This is one of my favorite Stoic principles because it's so transformative. The Stoics believed that while we can't always control our emotions, we can control our actions. This idea is incredibly empowering because it puts the power back in our hands. Think about it. Emotions are fleeting and often unpredictable. They can be influenced by a variety of factors: our environment, our physical state, even the weather. But our actions, those are choices we make. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Let's break that down. Suppose you have a stressful day at work. Your initial emotional response might be frustration or anger. You might feel like snapping at a coworker or venting your anger on social media. But what if instead you paused and chose to act differently? What if you took a deep breath, went for a walk, or channeled your energy into something productive? By focusing on your actions rather than your emotions, you're taking control of the situation. I remember a time when I was dealing with a difficult situation at home. My emotions were all over the place: anger, sadness, frustration. It was easy to get lost in those feelings and let them dictate my actions. But then I remembered the Stoic teachings. I decided to focus on what I could do, not what I felt. I started with small, constructive actions: cleaning the house, organizing my thoughts on paper, and planning my next steps. Those actions helped me regain a sense of control and calm. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to remain indifferent to things beyond his control. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about acknowledging them and choosing not to let them control you. The Stoics also believed in the importance of virtue. They held that living a virtuous life, one marked by wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, was the highest good. Actions aligned with these virtues are always within our control, even when our emotions are not. For instance, in moments of anger, choosing to act with patience and understanding instead of lashing out is a demonstration of wisdom and temperance. Seneca, another renowned Stoic philosopher, provided a wonderful example of this principle. He said, Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. This means treating each day as an opportunity to practice virtue and make choices that reflect your true values, regardless of how you might be feeling in the moment. It's also helpful to remember that emotions are temporary. They come and go like waves in the ocean. But the actions we take, especially those guided by our core values, can have lasting impacts. By prioritizing actions over emotions, we build a foundation of inner strength and resilience that helps us navigate life's ups and downs more effectively. When faced with a difficult decision or situation, try to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what is the right action to take, regardless of how I feel right now? This simple question can help reorient your focus from your immediate emotional response to a more thoughtful and deliberate course of action. Another practical tip is to develop routines and habits that reinforce positive actions. For example, if you know that exercise helps you feel more balanced, make it a non-negotiable part of your day. By building habits around constructive actions, you create a buffer against the volatility of emotions. Remember, the Stoics believed that our character is defined by our actions, not our emotions. As Epictetus wisely put it, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This underscores the importance of intentionality in our actions. By defining the person we want to be and then consistently taking actions that align with that vision, we cultivate inner strength and resilience. Number 4, building mental toughness. This is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and is key to developing inner strength. The Stoics believed that true resilience and strength come from the mind, not the body. Think of mental toughness as a muscle. Just like your physical muscles, your mental muscles need regular exercise to grow stronger. The more you challenge yourself, the tougher and more resilient you become. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, often spoke about the importance of training the mind. He said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." Let's start with small, everyday challenges. You don't need to run a marathon or climb a mountain to build mental toughness. It's about making those small, tough decisions daily. Maybe it's getting up an hour earlier to work on a personal project, or it's saying no to that extra slice of cake when you're trying to eat healthier. These might seem like minor actions, but they add up. Each time you push through a small discomfort, you're strengthening your mental resilience. One of my favorite Stoic exercises for building mental toughness is called voluntary discomfort. Seneca often practiced this. He would deliberately subject himself to uncomfortable situations, like eating simple foods or wearing rough clothing, to remind himself of how little he truly needed to be happy. He believed that by regularly facing discomfort, he could prepare himself for any of life's hardships. Seneca said, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" Let me share a personal story. When I first started incorporating Stoic practices into my life, I decided to try cold showers. Now I know it sounds simple, but for someone who loves their warm showers, this was a real challenge. The first few times I hesitated, my mind screamed for the comfort of warm water. But each time I turned the knob to cold, I was training my mind to embrace discomfort. It was a daily practice of mental toughness. Over time, I found that this small act of discipline carried over into other areas of my life. I became more resilient at work, more patient in stressful situations, and more determined in my personal goals. The Stoics also emphasized the power of perspective in building mental toughness. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about viewing challenges as opportunities. He would remind himself that obstacles were simply part of life, and that his response to them was what truly mattered. He famously said, "The impediment to action advances action," What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that the very obstacles we face can become the path to our personal growth and improvement. Another essential element of mental toughness is focusing on what you can control. The Stoics believed that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. Epictetus taught his students to differentiate between what is within their control and what is not. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By focusing on our actions and attitudes, we can navigate even the toughest situations with grace and resilience. It's also important to practice gratitude, another Stoic principle that helps build mental toughness. By appreciating what we have, even during challenging times, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we possess. This simple practice can strengthen our resolve and provide us with the inner resources to face difficulties. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Starting your day with gratitude can set a positive tone and build mental resilience over time. Let's not forget the role of self-compassion in mental toughness. The Stoics believed in striving for excellence, but also recognized the importance of being kind to oneself. Self-compassion doesn't mean making excuses for ourselves. Rather, it's about understanding our own humanity and treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a friend. If you stumble, don't be harsh on yourself. Learn from it and keep moving forward. Seneca advised, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." This means that having a clear sense of purpose and being kind to ourselves when we falter is crucial in our journey of building mental toughness. To sum it up, building mental toughness is about consistently challenging yourself, embracing discomfort, maintaining a positive perspective, focusing on what you can control, practicing gratitude, and being kind to yourself. It's a journey, not a destination. And remember, every small step you take in this direction strengthens your inner resilience and helps you become the best version of yourself. Number 5, the importance of discipline. All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely crucial for building inner strength and achieving any meaningful goal in life: discipline. The Stoics believed that discipline is the bedrock of a strong and resilient character. It's not just about sticking to routines, it's about mastering yourself and aligning your actions with your values and principles. Think of discipline as the muscle that keeps everything in place. Without it, our best intentions can fall apart. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasized discipline in his writings. He often reminded himself that he was in control of his actions and choices, no matter what distractions or temptations arose. He wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This kind of self-regulation is at the heart of Stoic discipline. Discipline starts with small, everyday decisions. It's not about making grand gestures, but about consistently making the right choices, even when they're difficult. Think about your daily habits. Do you hit the snooze button in the morning, or do you get up and start your day with purpose? Do you stick to your workout routine, or do you skip it when you're feeling lazy? Each of these choices, no matter how small, is a step toward building or eroding your discipline. Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I decided to adopt a new morning routine inspired by Stoic practices. It was simple. Wake up early, spend a few minutes in meditation, read a passage from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and then plan my day. At first, it was challenging. There were days when I just wanted to sleep in or skip the meditation. But I reminded myself of the Stoic principle that discipline is the key to freedom. By consistently practicing this routine, I noticed significant improvements in my focus, productivity, and overall sense of well-being. The Stoics also believed that discipline involves controlling our desires and impulses. Seneca said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This means not letting our cravings or emotions dictate our actions. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, discipline means saying no to that tempting slice of cake, even if you really want it. It's about having the strength to choose long-term benefits over short-term gratification. Discipline is also about perseverance. The Stoics understood that life is full of challenges and setbacks, but they believed that with discipline, we can navigate these difficulties and stay on course. Epictetus taught that we should make the best use of what is in our power and take the rest as it happens. This means focusing on what we can control and being disciplined in our efforts, even when things don't go as planned. One powerful Stoic exercise to build discipline is the practice of setting intentions and following through with them. Every morning, take a few moments to set your intentions for the day. What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to behave? Then, at the end of the day, reflect on how well you adhered to those intentions. This daily practice can help you stay focused and disciplined. Discipline also means being consistent. The Stoics were big believers in the power of habit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By consistently practicing good habits, you train your mind to follow a disciplined path. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you get. Another aspect of Stoic discipline is the concept of amor fati, which means love of fate. This involves accepting and embracing whatever happens in life without complaint or resistance. It's about being disciplined in our reactions to events, seeing them as opportunities to grow and learn. This mindset helps us stay focused and resilient, no matter what challenges we face. When we talk about discipline, it's important to remember that it's not about being rigid or harsh with ourselves. The Stoics practiced what we might call compassionate discipline. They understood that we are all human and that mistakes are part of the journey. The key is to learn from those mistakes and to keep moving forward. Seneca said, "To err is human, but to persist in the mistake is diabolical." Discipline means acknowledging our errors, forgiving ourselves, and striving to do better. So how can you start building more discipline in your life? Begin with small, manageable steps. Choose one habit you want to develop or one area where you want to be more disciplined. It could be as simple as drinking more water, exercising regularly, or spending less time on social media. Commit to it and hold yourself accountable. Over time, these small acts of discipline will build a foundation of inner strength and resilience. Remember, discipline is not about being perfect. It's about making consistent efforts to improve and align your actions with your values. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when it's hard. By embracing discipline, you're not only building inner strength, but also creating a life of purpose and integrity. Number 6, going inward. Let's dive into a practice that's at the heart of Stoicism and crucial for building immense inner strength: going inward. The Stoics believed that true wisdom and strength come from within, not from external sources. This means taking the time to reflect, meditate, and understand your inner self. In our busy, fast-paced lives, it's easy to overlook the importance of introspection. But trust me, it's a game changer. Going inward is about finding quiet moments to connect with your inner thoughts and feelings. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often emphasized the importance of retreating into oneself. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This practice helped him maintain clarity and composure amidst the chaos of leading an empire. If he could find time for introspection, so can we. Start by setting aside a few minutes each day for self-reflection. Find a quiet spot where you won't be disturbed. It could be in the morning before the hustle and bustle begins, or in the evening as you wind down. Use this time to meditate, journal, or simply sit in silence and observe your thoughts. The goal is to create a space where you can tune into your inner voice and gain insights into your true self. I remember when I first started practicing Stoicism, I found the idea of going inward a bit daunting. My mind was always racing with to-do lists and worries, but I decided to give it a try. Every morning, I would sit quietly for just 5 minutes and focus on my breathing. At first, it felt uncomfortable. My mind would wander and I'd get frustrated, but over time, I learned to embrace the stillness. I began to notice patterns in my thoughts and gain a deeper understanding of my motivations and fears. This practice became a sanctuary, a place where I could reconnect with my core values and find peace. The Stoics also taught that going inward helps us detach from external validation and distractions. Seneca said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." This means that our true strength comes from within, and we shouldn't rely on external circumstances or the opinions of others to define our worth. By regularly reflecting on our inner selves, we can cultivate a sense of self-sufficiency and resilience. One powerful technique for going inward is journaling. Keeping a journal allows you to articulate your thoughts and feelings, making them more tangible and easier to understand. Try writing down your reflections at the end of each day. What went well? What challenges did you face? How did you respond? This practice not only helps you gain clarity, but also tracks your personal growth over time. It's like having a conversation with your inner self. Epictetus encouraged his students to constantly examine their own lives and beliefs. He taught that self-awareness is key to personal growth. He said, "Know, first, who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This means understanding your true nature and aligning your actions with your inner values. By going inward, you can identify areas where you're out of alignment and make necessary adjustments. Another aspect of going inward is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment and observing your thoughts without judgment. It's about cultivating an awareness of your inner state and the world around you. This practice can help you become more attuned to your emotions and reactions, allowing you to respond to situations with greater wisdom and composure. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to live in the present moment, writing, "Confine yourself to the present." Going inward also means facing your inner demons and unresolved issues. The Stoics believed that true courage comes from confronting your fears and vulnerabilities. Seneca advised, "He who is brave is free." By exploring your inner landscape, you can uncover hidden fears and limiting beliefs that hold you back. This process might be uncomfortable, but it's essential for personal growth. Remember, the goal is not to judge yourself harshly, but to understand and heal. To deepen your inward journey, you can also practice gratitude. Take a few moments each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. This simple practice can shift your focus from what's lacking in your life to what you already have. It cultivates a sense of contentment and appreciation, which are vital for inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Lastly, consider incorporating Stoic readings into your daily routine. Reading works by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus can provide valuable insights and guidance for your inward journey. These texts are like a conversation with wise mentors who have navigated the complexities of life and emerged with profound wisdom. Reflecting on their teachings can help you gain new perspectives and deepen your understanding of yourself. Going inward is not a one-time event, but a lifelong practice. It requires patience, dedication, and a willingness to explore the depths of your inner world. But the rewards are immense. By cultivating a rich inner life, you build a strong foundation of inner strength, resilience, and wisdom. Number 7. Use pain as a catalyst. The Stoics believed that pain and suffering are not just inevitable parts of life, but essential ones. They saw these experiences as opportunities to develop inner strength, wisdom, and resilience. This might sound tough, but stick with me. It's a game changer. Think about it. Every significant growth in life usually comes after a period of discomfort or challenge. It's in those moments of pain that we are forced to confront our limitations, reassess our priorities, and dig deep to find our true strength. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles and pain are not just hindrances, they are the very things that propel us forward. Let's take a closer look at how we can apply this Stoic principle in our everyday lives. Imagine you've just gone through a tough breakup. It's painful, no doubt about it. Your first instinct might be to wallow in that pain or try to numb it with distractions. But what if, instead, you used that pain as a catalyst for personal growth? What if you saw it as an opportunity to understand yourself better, to identify patterns in your relationships, and to become a stronger, more self-aware person? I remember a time in my life when I faced a significant professional setback. I had poured my heart and soul into a project, only to see it fail spectacularly. It was a tough pill to swallow, and I felt like giving up. But then I thought about the Stoic teachings. I realized that this failure, this pain, was an opportunity. I took a step back, analyzed what went wrong, and used those lessons to improve my skills and approach. That painful experience ended up being one of the most valuable learning moments of my life. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of accepting pain rather than resisting it. Epictetus, who endured a life of hardship as a slave, taught that our reactions to pain are within our control. He said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." This means that while we might not be able to avoid pain, we can choose how we respond to it. By accepting pain and seeing it as a natural part of life, we can reduce its power over us. Another powerful Stoic practice is to anticipate potential pain and prepare for it. Seneca advised practicing premeditatio malorum, which means premeditation of evils. This involves regularly contemplating possible hardships and mentally preparing for them. By doing so, we can reduce the shock and impact of unexpected pain. It's not about being pessimistic, it's about being prepared. Seneca said, "Rehearse them in your mind. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck, all the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes." Let's apply this to a practical scenario. Suppose you have an important presentation coming up and you're anxious about it. Instead of avoiding the anxiety, embrace it. Think about the worst-case scenarios. Maybe you'll forget your lines or the technology will fail. By imagining these possibilities, you can prepare for them. You can practice your speech until it's second nature and have backup plans for technical issues. This mental preparation can transform anxiety into confidence. Pain also has a way of bringing clarity to our lives. When we're in pain, we tend to strip away the non-essentials and focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that pain can help us reconnect with our inner values and priorities. It can remind us of what's truly important and help us let go of the trivial distractions. The Stoics believed that by enduring pain with courage and grace, we can inspire others and contribute to the greater good. They saw this as part of their duty to society. Epictetus said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." By facing our pain head-on, we become examples of resilience and strength for those around us. Another key aspect of using pain as a catalyst is finding meaning in it. Viktor Frankl, a 20th century psychiatrist who was influenced by Stoic philosophy, survived the horrors of the Holocaust by finding meaning in his suffering. He believed that even in the most terrible circumstances, we have the freedom to choose our attitude and find purpose. This aligns perfectly with the Stoic view that we can transform our pain into something meaningful. So how can we start using pain as a catalyst in our own lives? Begin by changing your mindset. Instead of seeing pain as something to avoid, see it as an opportunity for growth. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it strengthen you. Reflect on past painful experiences and identify the lessons they taught you. Use those insights to navigate future challenges with greater resilience. Number 8. Relentless pursuit of goals. The Stoics believed in the power of perseverance and dedication. They taught that to live a meaningful life, we must set our sights on worthy goals and pursue them with unwavering commitment. Think about it. How often do we set goals only to abandon them when the going gets tough? The Stoics, however, emphasized the importance of sticking to our goals, regardless of the obstacles. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means clearly defining your goals and then taking consistent action to achieve them, no matter the challenges. One key aspect of the Stoic approach to goals is focusing on what you can control. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reminded himself to concentrate on his own actions and efforts rather than the outcome. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that while we can't control everything that happens, we can control how we respond and the effort we put in. Let's break this down with a personal example. A few years ago, I set a goal to run a marathon. I wasn't an experienced runner, and the thought of running 26.2 miles was daunting. But I decided to commit to it, inspired by the Stoic principle of relentless pursuit. There were days when training was incredibly tough, my legs were sore, the weather was awful, and I felt like giving up. But I kept reminding myself to focus on what I could control, showing up for my training runs, eating right and resting properly. By taking it one step at a time and staying committed, I eventually crossed the finish line. The feeling of accomplishment was incredible, not just because I completed the marathon, but because I persevered through the challenges. The Stoics also believed in the importance of setting meaningful goals. Seneca advised, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This means that we often limit ourselves with our own doubts and fears. To live a fulfilling life, we need to set goals that challenge us and push us beyond our comfort zones. When setting goals, it's important to align them with your core values. Ask yourself, what do I truly care about? What legacy do I want to leave? By setting goals that are meaningful and aligned with your values, you'll find the motivation to keep going, even when things get tough. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with our values is essential for a life of purpose and integrity. Another important aspect of the Stoic approach to goals is resilience. The Stoics understood that setbacks and failures are part of the journey. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles are not just roadblocks, they are opportunities to learn and grow. When faced with a setback, instead of giving up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? Resilience also means being adaptable. Sometimes our goals may need to be adjusted due to unforeseen circumstances. The Stoics taught that while we should be steadfast in our efforts, we should also be flexible and open to change. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." Surrounding yourself with supportive and positive influences can help you stay resilient and focused on your goals. It's also helpful to break down your goals into smaller, manageable steps. This approach makes big goals less overwhelming and allows you to track your progress. Celebrate each small victory along the way. These milestones can provide motivation and reinforce your commitment. The Stoics believed in taking consistent, deliberate actions toward our goals. As Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." By preparing and taking consistent action, we create our own luck. Another practical tip for the relentless pursuit of goals is to visualize success. Visualization is a powerful tool that can help you stay focused and motivated. Take a few moments each day to imagine yourself achieving your goal. Picture the details, how it feels, what it looks like, and the sense of accomplishment. This practice can reinforce your commitment and keep your goal at the forefront of your mind. Discipline is also a critical component of the relentless pursuit of goals. The Stoics believed that discipline is the foundation of a strong character. By maintaining a disciplined approach, you build the mental toughness needed to overcome challenges and stay on course. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means that instead of just thinking or talking about your goals, you need to take action and live in accordance with your aspirations. To sum it up, the relentless pursuit of goals involves setting meaningful objectives, focusing on what you can control, being resilient and adaptable, breaking down goals into manageable steps, visualizing success, and maintaining discipline. By adopting these Stoic principles, you can stay committed to your goals and achieve a life of purpose and fulfillment. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments below.